Hello, hello, good evening, everyone. So, super delighted to facilitate lesson 3 on this call. First of all, Ramadan Kareem to every single one of you. May it shower you with its blessings for you and your families. So, let's get started without any further ado. So, lesson 3. This is absolutely one of the most essential key lessons in the Thinking into Results program. And I hope you are giving it your fullest attention and your fullest practice and your fullest implementation. So this is one of the key lessons. Why? Because together with lesson 2, as we saw, 2 and 3, really give you the key step-by-step implementational action that you need to take to be able to change your paradigms. So we saw that paradigms are difficult to change. So it's either a big emotional impact to change a paradigm. Say you have a paradigm about procrastination or a paradigm about not showing up for yourself or for others. And we will talk about this, why some people shy away from showing up, in life. And imagine, so the way the paradigm changes is strong emotional impact. Imagine, let me give you an example of a strong emotional impact. But let's say, for example, you are going camping, and then you go into your, if you like, a sleeping bag, and all of a sudden, there is a big spider in there. So you get out of the sleeping bag, and that's something you will never do again. For sure, every time you are going to get into that sleeping bag, you are going to check it out first that it doesn't have anything inside. That's a strong emotional impact. The other examples of strong emotional impact, for example, 9/11. 9/11 has impacted people in ways where they changed their thinking about other people, about countries, about a lot of things, right? A more probably closer example would probably for a kid, a strong emotional impact would be a big problem in the family. For example, seeing his dad and mom in constant battles or anything, and then a separation and although the child may not be showing anything, but let's see the waiting one. Awesome. So good evening, everyone. So as we said, paradigms change. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Thanks for joining me. Now I'm facilitating tonight lesson 3. So to recap a little bit, I've just started. Ramadan Kareem to all of you. And if you have any wins for the week, absolutely, by all means, please write them in the chat box. So I'm introducing lesson 3, and I'm discussing with you how lesson 2 and lesson 3 are absolutely essential when it comes to changing our paradigms. Why? Because lesson 2 and lesson 3 really gives you they give you the step-by-step way of changing paradigms. Now, I was giving the example of changing paradigms, and I said changing paradigms can happen in 2 ways. You change a paradigm. Let's imagine you have a big paradigm about procrastination. You procrastinate a lot. You want to do certain things, yet you don't show up for yourself. You don't show up for others. You say, maybe not. This is not a good time to do this, and then you put it aside. That's a procrastination. Or another sign of procrastination is always doing your project or submitting your project last minute. You are the last minute person, always procrastinating and pushing a little bit further that project you have to do. That's a sign. I mean, it may seem like it's a small problem of arriving late or anything, but But thank you, Taraq. Happy Ramadan to you all. But the procrastination, if you like, behavior indicates a bigger paradigm besides. Now, the paradigm besides is I'm not respecting myself enough to show up for myself. And we will see in the lesson self image how, when people do not show up for themselves, do not show up when what they say they are going to do. For example, they say, yeah, I want to start a business, I want to do this, I want to reach this goal. But when it comes to starting, taking that first step, you will find they procrastinate. They say next week, next month, next year, next this, when the kids, grow up, when my mom did this, and so, and they keep postponing. And actually, procrastination is a sign that there is something in the self-image that needs to change, that is indicating why this person is not showing up for himself. Because before you can show up for others, you are showing up for yourself. So that's the first way of changing paradigms. But and as I said, an example of an emotional impact, the paradigm changes first through a big emotional impact. An example of an emotional impact is, for example, I just gave the example. Suppose you are camping, you go camping, and then time for sleep, and then you go inside the sleeping bag. And then all of a sudden, there is something moving inside the sleeping bag, and it's a spider. So you get out of the sleeping bag, you are scared. And that incident, trust me, in the future, you are never going to go into the sleeping bag before first checking that there is nothing inside. That's a strong emotional impact. Another emotional impact would be 9/11, for example, where a lot of things changed just because of that big event that happened. Another example would be, for example, for a child, seeing seeing his mom and dad tearing themselves to pieces, fights all day long, disagreements. That is bound to change the child's concept of a loving relationship, what is love, how parents or adults should talk together. Of course, it's not automatic, because it depends on how the adult in their life later on, is going to show up in their life and affect them and change their perception. But for sure, if nothing is done, even if the kid is not reacting at all, there is something that is going to break inside the child, and his concept is going to change about relationships. Now, before we can move on in today's lesson and start lesson 3, which is an amazing lesson, I would like to do a few checking, a few house cleaning or housekeeping, stuff. If you remember, let's see, I'm going to show the Q&A replay. I hope you can see my screen. So this is my email to you last week after the Q&A replay. I shared with you guys a productivity journal. I hope you can print it out and start using it for this entire year. It's right here. The link is right here. And then I hope by now you have on your phone a meditation app. It could be Insight Timer, it could be Calm, it could be, there are many free meditation apps. I hope you have one by now. And then what you want to do, let me stop sharing this one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another, let me share our Dropbox in here. So see this Excel sheet where some of you might be new. So don't worry, I'm going to share all of these resources with you guys. Now on this Excel sheet indicating all the dates of our meetings, you are going to see that you have all the links of the replays here. from the beginning to end. So, but what I wanted to share with you is at the bottom, you will see there is the schedule of sessions, the to-do list, the daily routines, and some useful links. So notice in useful links, you have my favorite links for meditation, my favorite links for every kind of meditation, sleep meditation, abundance meditation, money meditation, increase memory and focus meditation, visualization. Some of you are asking me, how do I visualize? I don't know how to visualize. So here you have everything. Here is a visualization meditation. You have a gratitude meditation, reprogram your mind, absolutely awesome kind of meditation. The subconscious mind explained scientifically. So here you have a scientific for all of you who are left brain and they are trying to find evidence for everything. This is the subconscious mind explained. And then breaking bad habits. There is an absolutely amazing YouTube link here. Please check it out if you want to reinforce your knowledge about how do I break a bad habit. So please check out all of these links. Then the replace. So everything, guys, in this Excel sheet, you have everything you need. You have everything you need. So I just wanted to check with you guys that you can see all of these tabs indicating all the resources that you need are there in the Excel sheet. Okay, just go in there and explore. So very quickly, I am going to put this aside. Can you confirm that you can see my screen with the PowerPoint with Mr. Bob Proctor in here? Yeah, good or good? Awesome. So today's lesson, so first of all, I want you to share with me some wins. What are some of your wins, ladies and gentlemen? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, you can see the screen. Now I'd like you to get into the habit of sharing wins. I'd like you every time you come on the call, you take note and you take inventory and you remember the good things that happened during the week. We would like to nurture and develop the habit of looking at the good things that are happening in our life. Small or big, it doesn't matter. The moment you start noticing, your mind is going to pick up these signals. It says, so Taraq or Hanouf or somebody, they are, if you like, they're looking to for good things. So what is going to happen is you will notice this immediately and tangibly in your life, that you will get more of that. So the more you focus on the good, the more you focus, oh my God, so I'm so happy and grateful. I received a free cup of coffee, although we are in lockdown. So, but notice these things. Or, oh my God, I received a phone call from a long lost friend and we reconnected, and actually she has this amazing idea, to do XYZ in business, or she offered me this and that. So the moment you start noticing, it is going to expand. Anything you notice is going to expand. So I would like you, okay, awesome. Awesome. Taraq is saying to the group, I have finished and delivered a great project related to my tasks at work. Well done. Well done. So here, Taraq and everyone else, the moment you start focusing, before you do the project or you set the intentions, you see yourself already finishing the project. You see yourself already in a situation where the boss is congratulating you, is telling you, oh my, yeah, thank you so much. This is really good work. This is setting the intentions, and it is also living from the wish fulfilled. When you live from the wish fulfilled, everything will start, rolling and spinning differently for you. I'm going to explain to you the concept of the wish fulfilled. We tend to think that things happen randomly in our life. They just happen, and then we have to deal with them. And actually, it is the other way around. Whatever is happening in our life is the result of our thinking. Start noticing your thinking, and you will see how in a couple of days or in a couple of weeks, it is going to come into your life. Whatever your focus was on, it's going to come back in the form of something. It could be in the form of a project, it could be in the form of thank you, it could be in the form of anything. Whatever you focus on expands. This is the main idea we are going. And the wish fulfilled, therefore, because our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between past and future, it simply doesn't. And that's why our goal is always set in the present. We say, I am so happy and grateful now that I have 5 sales every day, or I'm so happy and grateful now that my income double by let's say June 30th, 2020. So what we are doing here, we are claiming, we are putting in a request, we are putting in energy. Any thought is energy, and we know by now that thoughts are some of the most powerful energy we could ever have. Okay. Now, so lesson three, so now I'm connecting to something I said at the beginning, which is how do we change paradigms? First, by a strong emotional impact, but we don't want strong emotional impact. We want something else, like more doable, and that is where constant spaced repetition comes into play. So the other way, the alternative to a strong emotional impact is constant spaced repetition. And you will notice how in lesson 2 and lesson 3, we focus on how we take 1 or 2 habits at most. We cannot change the entire paradigm in all of a sudden. What we need to do is focus on 1 or 2 habits. For the time being, I'm focusing on 1 habit I want to change in my paradigm to be able to move on with my goal. So every day, morning and evening, I'm focusing on repeating. There is an affirmation, which I will show you how to write for yourself, depending, of course, on your goal, because you have different goals. I'll show you how to write the affirmation and how to repeat, writing it morning and evening. This is so, so powerful. It is simple. It is simple. Some people say, yeah, I remember at school, the teacher made us write this 10 times in the morning, or 10 times or 20 times, or sends us home, write it 100 times or write it 50 times. It's the exact same principle. Repetition is if you like, the number 1 law for learning, and teachers and the educators have discovered this and have been using it. So what we are going to do in lesson 2 and lesson 3, you will notice we are going to use the principle of repetition in order to create new habits, to let go of some of the habits and bring new habits in our life, habits that are going to serve us much better. And once you start building some habits, the new results will show, because you are no longer the same. You are going to be operating on a different level. So lesson 3 is called your infinite mind. Your infinite mind. Your mind is actually limitless. So this is if you like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to reach, whatever you want to do with your mind in order to create the results you want is possible, is doable. It's just that kind of information that is not given to us as kids. We are given the exact opposite information that, you have these grades, so your life is going to be restricted to this. And as an educator, with long history in education, I can tell you that grades should not be defining people at all. Grades mean a performance at a particular point in time the kid has taken, for example, 1 week ago. That's all. I mean, we are today living in a society that has blown up the concept of grades. And we look at our kids, and whatever grades they have, it determines their value. So if they have good grades, oh my God, you're good and excellent. And what if they get good grades in math? We say, oh, my son is a genius, or my daughter is this. If the kid is bringing bad grades, then we say, oh, maybe my kid needs extra support. Let me bring a teacher, and so on. Now, remember that Einstein, for example, was always receiving bad grades in mathematics. And he's the guy who invented the theory of relativity in physics. This is just to, if you like, showcase the idea that we in the society, for the majority of people, they let the outside world determine their value. Okay, so we look at the bank account. If we don't see a lot of money, say, oh, so I don't have a lot of money, I'm poor. Whereas the truth is, if they look carefully and understand the mindset effect, they would say, I am the one who created that result. If I change my thinking about money, that result is going to change. So the truth, and here I come back to the principle of living from the wish fulfilled. When you sit down with yourself, you don't look at your bank account and you start planning. No, you look at what you want in your life. Let's start from that picture you want to create in your life. And then we are going to think, act, and operate. We will show you how to think, act, and operate like that person. So it all starts with thinking. It doesn't start from looking at my results. It starts from my thinking. And that's why you guys are studying thinking into results. It's how your thinking is leading to your results, right? Okay, so let's start with a quote. I love this one. This is actually Sir Albert Einstein, who says, he talks about the rational mind and the intuitive mind. Einstein, remember, he is, he's the one who invented relativity, the theory of relativity in physics. And people at the beginning did not want to believe him. Look at what he says. He is a scientist, so he's left-brained, and he talks about intuition. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind, meaning reason, is a faithful person. We created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. What we have here, Albert Einstein is telling us, the word is in reverse. Instead of all of us focusing on our intuition, on our heart, on our imagination, on creating things first in our mind, no, we are looking at what's rational. You see, we have people telling us, the grades of my son are not really good, so he is not good in for example, scientific subjects. Okay, so let's put him in, for example, let's send him to study English or to study literature or study something. So that's logic, that's logic. Even our logic is controlled by the paradigm. Just think of an example how our logic is controlled by the paradigm. And whose paradigm? Of course, the paradigm of the people who raised up, of course, with all the good intentions, but it's coming from people who themselves have paradigms. So, for example, this is logic. If you say, okay, so now, Mr. Tarek, go to your boss and ask him to double your salary. You say, what? This is illogical, impossible. Don't count me in. He will think I'm crazy or anything. That explains, or that shows how our mind is controlled by the rational mind, by logic. And the logic itself is controlled by the paradigm. It's controlled by what everybody, thinks it's logical. 5% salary increase is good. 10% is good. But multiplying your income or asking for a double salary, that's not logical. Now, who created the idea that doubling your income is not logical? We need to think, right? If we get to the root cause of. Now, think about something else. Now, this is for the people who are on jobs. Think about somebody starting his own business. Is the idea of creating income that is equal to the salary really difficult, really impossible? You might say, no. A lot of people in business, they start with something small. I have a client who is earning $10,000 out of doing stickers, those little stickers and, digital or digitally printed t-shirts and so on. And then another one, those bracelets, those little bracelets that are done by, by young people out of, I think it's piece of material. And they're earning in the $10,000 per month out of shipping those little bracelets on, I think, a Etsy shop or a Shopify shop. It's an online store, and all he is doing, he's doing dropping the, what is it called? Drip shopping, where the materials are in China. And then this person is just taking the orders from here, and then the shop in China will send the material to the customers. And the person in the middle is getting like a double or triple the income. This is called drop shipping. And if you are, for example, buying, let's say, makeup or from online, you are scrolling on Facebook, and you come across some makeup or a small machine to clean the face, or there are all kinds of products. So when you go online and buy from these, that's called drop shipping. And a lot of young people today have these drop shipping, if you like, businesses, and they are earning in the millions. Who doesn't want? I mean, at least during this period of lockdown, I bought at least 5 or 6 products. Why? Because I bump into them on Facebook. I like them, and if you like, the company is promising to bring it to my door, so I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to pay any, if you like, FedEx or anything. It's coming to my door. Who doesn't want that? So a lot of businesses are opening like that. You don't need a brick and mortar, place to sell products. You don't need anything. It's a small space online. You have a couple of products and you start selling. It's called drop shipping, and it's an amazing thing. This is the expansion of e-commerce, right? So, so those who are still in the paradigm of the job is the security, or having a fixed job and a fixed salary is security, it's going to take them some time to kind of get out of the paradigm of the security in the job and the security in the salary. The lockdown and this COVID-19 situation has indicated that the least secure positions are the jobs. People are losing jobs. I was reading just in Spain, 900,000 people in Spain 2 weeks ago lost their jobs. In the US, 20 millions lost their jobs. I have a friend in New York, she's an architect, and Sunday, was this Sunday? Last Sunday, we talked, and she said, I lost my job. But she was happy. She said, I'm glad I lost my job. You know what? Because I've been wanting to open my project for a long time, but I was too scared. So now, when I lost my job, this is my opportunity. I'm not going back to work. I'm not going to search for a job. I'm going to start my own business. And the stories, there are so many stories. This lockdown, this COVID-19 pandemic definitely is going to change the world. There is absolutely no comeback to normal. There is no such a thing as the normal situation. We are going to come out of this pandemic to a new normal, a new situation, new jobs created, new opportunities created. And those who are going to be the winners of the new economy are the people who are ready to adapt, think, see in the current situation the opportunity, and jump on it and start doing things. Action is very, very important. The universe loves the speed. The universe loves the speed. So if you are locked up in the idea of, I have an idea and it's been 3 years, I've been thinking about it, start. Don't think about it, start. You say, and I had a client yesterday who was thinking, no, I need to think, I cannot start until I see the whole process, until I have a full roadmap about what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. Guys, that's an old way of thinking. Like, you need to have the entire if you like process clearly shown in a roadmap. If you know the first step, start walking, take that first step, and you are going to see how the entire universe is going to be in your favor. It's going to be in your favor. It's going to support you. You will see synchronicities coming to you. You will see you are meeting people. You thought, oh my God, this is by accident, and I bumped into a friend. The universe is going to conspire to bring you what you want when you are in action, when you start taking steps towards your goal. So the moment you start walking towards your goal is starting to come to you. Everything you are seeking is seeking you. It will come to you and meet you halfway, but you need to start taking some action, okay? This is a reflection also from Mr. Albert Einstein, where he says, when I examined myself and my methods of thought, I came to the conclusion that the gift of fantasy means imagination. We will study the mental faculty of imagination in lesson 5. So he says, when I examined, and remember guys, this is a scientist, So he says, when I examined myself and my methods of thoughts, I came to the conclusion that the gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. In other words, he is saying we can fill our head with information and knowledge and so on, but imagination is more important. So in other words, he's saying, are we using our mental faculties in the correct way? I'm telling you, Ask the 10 people around you and ask them, what are your 6 mental faculties? And come back to me next week and tell me how many of them said, yeah, we know what are our mental faculties. And tell me. When I was asked that question by Mr. Bob Proctor, the first time I met him back, when I went to Canada for the first training, he said, doctor, I have a doctorate in education. And he was telling me, doctor, what are your 6 mental faculties? And I was stuck. I was stuck. I didn't know. The school system, no school system is teaching this information of the mindset about who we are, what we are capable of doing, how we use our mind to bring the results we want in our life is not taught at school. And you are among the lucky ones. Why? Because you're going to teach it to your kids. You're going to use it from now on into your life. And the sooner you have this information, the better and better and better and better your life is going to be. Why? Because now you are in control of your life. You are in control of your future. You know what to do exactly in order to bring the results you want in your life. You have a roadmap. Okay? Now let's see. So in lesson 2, what we did is first we described a situation where we are currently not getting the results we like. So we write. So when you do the exercises, you've been writing about the situation where you are getting results you don't like. Okay, and then you flip the paper, and on the other side you wrote exactly the situation as you want it, the exact opposite. Okay. And then what we did in lesson 2 is we looked at both descriptions and we highlighted the actions in each scenario and divided them into 2 categories: the non-productive activities and the productive activities. So if the situation you did not like, for example, is procrastination, you say, I always procrastinate. I don't know what to do, but I'm always late to work. I'm always late to the plane. Or sometimes miss the plane. I'm always late to do this, and so on and so forth. So what is the non-productive activity here? The non-productive activity is that you are never ready for a meeting. Non-productive activity. If you are rushing, if you are always leaving home late and rushing into work and rushing into the meeting, and people look at you and you are late today, next week, next month, next year, this is not going to change. So what you are going to do is you are going to describe the opposite, the productive activities. What is it? I am so happy and grateful now that I arrive to my meetings always ahead of time and well prepared. I arrive to meetings ahead of time meaning not late, and well prepared. 2 things. And then what you're gonna do also to prepare your mind is you're gonna write 6 action steps you can take right now to move forward, turning your NPAs into PAs. Meaning, right now, what can I do to turn the arriving late into arriving ahead of time and on time? What can I do? What are some actionable steps I can do? For example, I'm setting my alarm. I am, for example, writing the productive activities, and actually it tells you in the lesson how you write your non-productive activities and you burn them. You burn them or you shred them. And then you start writing your productive activities. At the beginning, it's not going to make sense. You say, why am I doing this? This is not going to happen. And then as you do it day in, day out, you're going to see it needs 30 days at least, depending on the strength of the paradigm. And you are going to see little by little that the old habit is little by little starting to disappear and fade away. Of course, it's not going to be an immediate thing. First, you need a decision. Yes, I am going to do this. But you will notice there is a phase in, phase out place, where the old habit and the new habits are living in the same space, and even there is some resistance and some kicking and fighting, like the old habit wants to stay and the new habit is replacing it. And you will notice, if you stick with it, if you are patient and commit to continue doing the work, you will notice that the old habit will disappear, and one day you wake up and it's your new normal. It's your new normal, that you are always ahead of time and well prepared for your meetings. Okay. So, we said this is part of your the 6 activities which you are committed to take. And here you write, let me put it for you, and you write your name. You have this one in your book, by the way. Am committed to take the following action steps this week, and you write down the action steps you have a notepad. For the people who haven't received the notepad, please bear with me. So these are the kind of notepads we can use, or you can pull out the remember I showed you the link in last week's link in last week's email. In the replay, there is a link which is called the 25K idea. It's a whole journal. You can print it out. It's 365 pages, and there you can have it as I have it in here. I have it in a book. I bound it, and then every day I do one thing, and I write my 6 goal achieving activities. Trust me, guys, when you do this, you are going to see after a couple of months, when you go back into the first or second page you wrote, you're going to see yourself really moving in ascending order. So now your infinite mind, how to use your mind to get the results you want. Guys, we are whole, complete. Our DNA is perfect. We are connected to the one and only. We are connected to God. And our DNA is perfect. We say one person with God is a majority. Meaning you have everything right here to achieve anything you want. You just have to make up your mind. What is it that you really, really want? Yes, Tarek. I mean the link I sent in last week's replay. There is a link where you can download the 25K idea. The 25K idea is how you write your 6 goal achieving activities at night, and first thing in the morning you wake up and you look at number 1, you go and achieve it. When you are finished with it, you move to number 2. When you finish it, you move to 3. When you move to 3, when you do 3, you move to 4, and so on and so forth. So your mind is in order. Your mind is not in disorder. Multitasking, the research on brain research is indicating that multitasking is actually not true. It's not an indicator of if you like, productivity or effectiveness. Multitasking is actually keeping people distracted and running all the time, thinking they are productive, but they are busy but not productive. So what you're going to do is focus on one activity to the next. Now look, I'm going to give you some examples of how paradigms control our thinking. And I'm going to give you examples from history. Let's look at some examples. This is so, so, so good. Let's, let me put aside this one. So look, this is Lord Kelvin on the left side. He is the president of the Royal Society in 1895. And he says, heavier than air, flying machines are impossible. This is a scientist. And in 1895, he was saying there is no way anything that is heavier than air is going to fly. So imagine, so this was the paradigm that was, if you like, widespread at that time. So imagine the Wright brothers in the early 1900s, these are a couple of bicycle mechanics, and they are trying to, if you like, to fly planes. They are trying to indicate that they can fly planes. And look at today's world. Of course we fly planes, and we can even take showers on some of the planes. So much they are sophisticated. This is to indicate how, paradigms or the thinking that is widespread generally is controlling the mind of people. Look at the second example. This is Charles Ewell. He is the director of the US Patent Office, 1899. And he says, everything that can be invented has been invented. He says there is no more invention. Everything that has been invented has already been invented. Just imagine, 20th century, we have the laser, we have, we send people to the moon and back. We discovered the internet. We discovered so many things. You see what I mean? But those are people who are in science startup. They are not full, but at that time, they would make sense. Here are more examples. Look, this is Robert Millikan. He is a Nobel Prize in Physics, 1923. What he said, there is no likelihood man can ever tap the power of the atom. We not only tapped in the power of the atom, we created atomic bombs, and we used them for good use, and we used them for bad, harmful uses. And this is a Nobel Prize winner. So imagine the thinking that was at that time. Look at Grover Cleveland, 22nd and 24th President of the United States, And he says, sensible and responsible women do not want to vote. This is the thinking that was in America in the 1900s, that if women respect themselves, they wouldn't want to vote. And this is the President of the United States. So if the President of the United States was thinking that way at that time, just imagine how normal people were thinking. And the last example, this is Harry Warner. This is, of course, the Warner Bros. Pictures, okay, in Hollywood. And he says, who the hell wants to hear actors talk? Who the hell wants to hear actors talk? Of course, look at today's world. It's full of one-man show, one-woman show, and an actor on stage talking for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and everybody's listening. All I'm saying through these examples is that, it is important that we use our mental faculties to think about the overspread ideas. Sometimes when we stop and revisit our our thinking, we are going to see that a lot of it is controlled by widespread belief. They're not controlled by, the use of pure thinking. Because thinking, as we will describe it in lesson 5, means the use of our 6 mental faculties, which are imagination, will, reason, perception, memory, and intuition. These are our 6 mental faculties I was telling you about, and I didn't know them when Mr. Bob Proctor. Intuition is a mental faculty. Can you believe it? Intuition, what your heart tells you, the direction, because sometimes your heart tells you, yeah, what if you do that? And then the monkey voice says, no, it's not gonna succeed. No, well, you did this and somebody did this and it didn't happen. What if we learn? What if we listen to our intuition? Okay, now the key points in lesson 3. So here we learned in lesson 3 how to establish new improved permanent results. You must change your paradigm. For a permanent improvements in results, the paradigm must be changed. And to change paradigms, you must change habits. We first need to see the paradigm, break it down into habits, and choose 1 or 2 habits at most, because we cannot change all of them, and then work on them for 30 days or more if the habit is really strong. And then once we settle in the new habit, we can bring in a new habit. Okay, so it is common error for a person to merely eliminate a negative habit, thinking the results will improve. It has been established that if a negative habit is not consciously and deliberately replaced with a positive habit, another negative habit will automatically replace it. This is very common. People say, I just need to stop thinking in a negative way. No. You need to stop thinking in a negative way, but automatically replace it with a positive idea. That's why when a negative idea comes to mind, you need to automatically state your goals. So say, for example, a negative idea comes to mind, and say, oh yeah, who do you think you are to open a business? You say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have started my business. I start my business and my business is bringing me $100,000 by the end of 2020. Anytime you have a negative idea, you quickly replace it by something positive. Otherwise, if you eliminate something positive without replacing, it will be replaced by another negative thing. Why? Because the mind and the nature abhors vacuum. Nature doesn't want empty spaces. You notice even on a piece of land, the moment you clean it from the weeds and so on, you will notice very quickly a lot of weeds will come back again. Why? Because nature abhors vacuum. Okay. So last point, to change our results, we should select 1 or 2 habits that require changing and immediately begin to move into action. Guys, please hear me out. Action is so essential. Starting with the first step is extremely important. Okay, the worksheets now. The worksheets, so your book, so the worksheets of lesson 3, what are we going to do here? You are going to go back to the first exercise in lesson 2 and rewrite the detailed description of the results you are getting that you do not want. Remember the description of the thing you did not want? I want you to rewrite it. Then go back to the second exercise in lesson 2 and rewrite all the non-productive activities, the NPAs, you identified in as much detail as possible. Then what are you going to do? You are going to rewrite the detailed description of the results that you want. 4, rewrite in as much detail as possible all the productive activities you identified to replace the NPAs. 5, this is key, this is essential. This is where, when I was doing this, my husband thought I was going to burn the house or anything. This is where you take the 2 sheets of paper with the unwanted results and the non-productive activities. And what you want to do is you want to shred them. I burn them. I prefer burning. So I burn them, and I take pleasure in burning all my negative, if you like, situation and the negative, non-productive activities. And I take pleasure in shredding them and burning them. And at the same time, I visualize myself with the new habit, with the new situation I want. As you are shredding the sheets of paper or burning them, mentally release them. Hold an image of yourself actively involved in the productive activities. Visually see yourself already without the bad habits. So hold an image of yourself actively involved in the productive activities that you have selected to replace the non-productive activities. Guys, these activities are so powerful, so powerful. In our laser calls, all of you, what if they came back to get through my mind? As we said, they are going to come back for some time, and that's why we are going to continue writing and visualizing ourselves without the habit, visualizing ourselves with the wish fulfilled for a certain number of time, minimum 30 days. If you feel the habit hasn't really taken place effectively, we're going to extend a little bit more. Some habits are easy and easy to change within 30 days. Some are easy to change within even 21 days. Some habits need 90 days. I had a client who I think probably more than a month ago, where he quit smoking using this through writing, rewriting, shredding, and burning, doing this exact activity. He stopped smoking. Okay, so this thing work. The main thing is that you believe, you take a decision, I believe this is going to happen, and you start doing the work. When you do the work, you will notice after a while, everything will start taking place. But do not stop. Do not question or doubt or say, no, this is... Even if you doubt, continue doing the work. And you will notice little by little, the old habit will go away and the new habit will take its place. Now, I will definitely discuss in more detail and in specific each of your cases regarding what you want to change and so on and so forth. And I'll give you more specific answers and guidance regarding how to change the first paradigm you want to change. Okay? I so much enjoyed facilitating the session for you guys. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. Definitely, I will put the replay in our, of course, the email, and I will put it, of course, in our Excel sheet, with all the dates in it. It was a pleasure seeing you all. What if they come back? So that's what I answered that question. Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I know it's Ramadan night, so enjoy your evening. And once again, thanks for showing up. Bye-bye.